What's going on? This is Breaking Free Speech, the official podcast of Breaking Free Skatepark. We have a special episode for you today. If you're on YouTube, it might look different because it is different. If you're in the podcast realm, iTunes, whatever, Spotify, it might sound different. I'm using a different app because this is a different type of podcast. This probably could have just been a YouTube video, not necessarily a podcast, and I guess it's kind of both. But today we're going to talk about something unacceptable that happened at the skate park that resulted in the permanent banning of someone. And the point of this podcast is to explain what happened, why it's unacceptable, and then to kind of make it not such a heavy topic, we're going to kind of do a funny breakdown. So the thing we're talking about is there was a fight at the skate park. Completely unacceptable. Bad attitudes. Definitely some bullying type thing going on. I think in this particular situation, the bully may have got what was coming to him. And if you know about this fight, and I'm sure a lot of you probably have because the video it was filmed by someone else that went around Snapchat or whatever. And if you know who this was, please do not tag them in this. Do not, don't. I want to keep it anonymous. Like, this isn't about like, oh, you screwed up and I'm going to make, an example out of you, although kind of am, but like, I don't want anyone to be embarrassed. It's not about the individuals. The point of this particular episode is to explain the situation and then how we figured out what was going on and how unacceptable it is, as I said earlier. So first, before we even get there, again, if you know the people involved, do not comment who they are. Do not tag them in it. This is supposed to be anonymous, okay? Although, it might be obvious, but either way. So first and foremost, before we even get here, this right here, this is the Breaking Free Skate Park waiver. Right here. Breaking Free Skate Park waiver. Get down here, the Behavioral Code Agreement, which are the rules and safety protocols. This is also on the sign in the shop and posted inside the skate park. Right down over here, it says, show respect for others and for yourself, as well as the property and that of others. And then at the bottom, violating the behavior code will result in ejection without refund. Repeated violations will result in the banning of participants from the premises. So, right there, I can kick you out. You signed that in the waiver. So, before we even get into the video, which we are going to do a video breakdown of the fight, we're going to go like frame by frame, how to make a joke out of it. Let me explain what happened at the skate park on this particular day. One, I was not at the counter when this happened. I know that you guys wouldn't pull this kind of BS if I was sitting right there. And this is nothing at all about Paige, who was working the counter at the time. She does a fine job. It's a matter of, if you did, they wouldn't pull that in front of me. They know it's not going to fly. But it's only a matter of time before I figured it out. I was in the park. I was working on ramps. Two, prior to this happening, there was some back and forth between these two riders. Oh, he won't leave me alone, or he's saying mean things at me, and when these situations happen, when they do, I really don't know who's at fault. I don't. I have no way of knowing who's at fault. So I usually tell the kids, I say, hey, if that person's giving you a hard time, stay away from him. And same thing. And you, leave him alone. Why don't you guys just stay apart from each other so there's no escalation? That's my protocol. Because then if there is escalation, I can say, yo, I told both of you to mind your own business, but you kept going. So anyway, that's what happened in this particular instance. There was Dave. He's giving me a hard time. Blah, blah, stay away from him. Okay, whatever. Fast forward. I come into the shop, just coincidentally happened to just walk into the shop, and clearly something had just transpired. And I was like, well, we need to get to the bottom of this. So, there's a fight, blah, blah, blah. So we'll have two kids fighting, maybe three kids in the shop. The kids who weren't in the fight were like, oh, it just kind of happened. I don't know. It just like, I tried to stop it, I'm like, oh, I'm sure you did. And then this kid's like, well, I was doing nothing at all. And then he just hit me. I was just eating my ramen noodles, and he just hit me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that's what happened. And then the other kid's like, oh, well, I don't even remember what he said. But whatever he said, I'm sure it wasn't intelligent. Because at this point, I'm coming into the scene. I don't know anything that happened. And I'm presuming that there's maybe 10% truth in what they're saying and like 40% lies and then 50% bending and this blob of details that I have to figure out what actually happened. But luckily for me, I have cameras, so I don't care what they said. So we just simmered it down. They went back to riding. I did not take any sides in the fight. I did not take any. I didn't think you were right, he was right, they were right. I was just like, whatever. I'm gonna go. So then I go on the cameras. So we're gonna put up the footage. And I'm going to let's put it up right here. Boom. Okay. Let's just play through it once. So this is just what we saw. We're not going to break it down. We're just going to look at the fight. So I'm looking at the cameras. I'm like, okay, something's going on here. I'm like, what's going on? Okay, well, that was something. And then there's this whole escalation. And clearly they're fighting now. And this is not to glorify or romanticize fighting and violence. I don't stand for any of this. It's just something's clearly going on. And like I said, if you're on the podcast forum, you should probably get on YouTube if you want to see this. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Let's do a little play-by-play here. All right, pause. We have kid 1 sitting on the picnic table. This will be the kid who, in my opinion, won the fight, but also would be the innocent one in the situation. Now, that's not to say he's 100% innocent, because I don't know what type of instigation and antagonizing happened in the skate park earlier in the day. But he was the one that first came to me and said, this kid won't leave me alone. And he was the one that clearly was antagonized to a breaking point. Now, kid number 2 is on the left side, sitting in front of the garbage in the white helmet. This kid has been a pain in the past sometimes. And prior to this video, as I was watching the footage, he smacks the kid with eating the noodles in the back of the head at least one other time. Another time, it appears he threw the sugar from the bottom of a Sour Patch Kids candy packet in the kid's face. And the Noodles kid, we'll call him Noodles, just sat there and he just took it. Just tried to eat it, tried to just not antagonize. Now, I'm going to give you my honest take on what exactly is happening right now. And quite frankly, all 3 kids on the left side of the screen here are lucky they're not all banned for the situation. So, let's go to the video. Let's look. To the far left, you have one kid sitting down, clearly filming. And before this video starts, which I don't have here at this point, they're clearly conspiring to do something. Kid number 2 is now talking to Noodles. And it is what I believe is intentional, where these 3 kids decided, hey, you film it, you distract him, and I'm going to come around from behind and sucker punch this kid. So I'm going to hit play. We'll go forward a little bit. All right, so he's talking to him. The kid gets up from behind. Once he gets behind him, he looks over. He looks over at his friend who's filming, gives him the look. Noodles doesn't know what's going on. Then White Helmet Kid smacks his friend in the arm and says, hey, it's about to go down. Noodles Kid is still sitting there, back turned to him. So now, camera kid's filming, distraction kid says, oh, my part in this fight's done. And this kid says, oh, I'm ready to hit this kid in the back of the head like a total jerk. So, right now, he's cocking back. Bam! Punches him in the back of the head. Now, why you punch a kid in the back of the head who's wearing a helmet? I don't know. Not the brightest move. But as I said, Noodles was antagonized multiple times, and this was the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, you'll see when he gets up, the kids in question are young teens. The White Helmet Kid, who is clearly the antagonist and the bully, picked this fight, sucker punched this kid, who is smaller than him and younger than him. Let's see how it plays out. Noodles gets up, goes after him. They get real tangled. There's a bunch of tangling going on. Now, kid on the left still filming it. Kid on the right, the distraction guy, is kind of just standing there. And if you haven't noticed yet, there's another kid sitting on the couch just on his phone, minding his own business. So these two kids kind of get tangled up. Just like arms hooked, they're kind of all tangled up in each other. They break apart. Now they're squared up. This is the moment where anyone of the two friends can step in and stop it. And if you're paying attention to what I said, when I came into the shop earlier, what I said earlier about when I came into the shop later, the two friends who were there said, oh, they tried to break up the fight. Now I have the video, and they're completely complicit in the whole situation. They had no desire in breaking up the fight. They wanted to be a part of it. So, the two kids are broken up at this point. They're standing about 4 feet from each other, looking eye to eye, and they jump right back into it. So Noodles just comes at them. You know, they get wrestled up in a tangle a little bit. They pull apart, and then the kid who's been antagonized multiple times is not having it anymore. So he's actually kind of being more proactive. He's coming at the kid who hit him in the back of the head. This is when it gets juicy. This is when I would say Noodles wins the fight. So let's move forward a little bit. Boom, right there. I'm gonna back up a tiny bit. The bully kid, when he backs towards the tables and the couch, he goes for a kick. Let's go back. Ready? Here comes from the left side. Boom. A kick. A kick. Wow, solid. Now, this is the power play right here. This is the move. Our boy, the kid who was antagonized, who sat there and got hit in the head 3 times before he finally sat up and said, I'm not taking this anymore. When the bully goes for the kick, he leaves himself wide open, and Noodles rocks him. So you're going to watch. White Helmet kicks with the right leg, right? Leaving him twisted and wide open. And then Noodles, with a right hook, comes right in and pops him good. Ready? Let's watch it. Kick. Boom! Oh, that's great. Ready? Kick. Bam! That's a little bit of redemption for every kid that was bullied, and this kid finally stood his ground. Fantastic. Now you'll watch the bully do exactly what they've always, what bullies do, right? When I was a kid, they told you to stand up to a bully because if you hit him back, he's just going to crumble because that's what bullies are like. Nowadays, it's like, just go tattletale and don't fight back. But I'm not going to get into that. But you'll see, I'll rewind it again real quick so we can see the kick and the punch. And then you'll see White Helmet. After he gets that solid whack in the face, he steps back, he adjusts his helmet, and you can see for a moment, it looks like he's going, holy crap, I didn't think this was going to happen. And that makes sense because he was picking on someone smaller than him and younger than him, and he thought he would just, get a cool Snapchat video for his friends and feel like a tough guy. So, again, watch this kick and then punch and then this moment of, what just happened? Here we go, play. Kick, punch, look, and he's like, whoa, oh my God. Then there's a standoff. So in this moment, they just lock eyes for a minute. And it looks like maybe White Helmet's like, oh, maybe I bit off more than I can chew. And our boy Noodles is like, nah, bro. It's like, you started this. We're going to go after it, So he goes for a couple of swings on him, a couple of big swings. He ducks one. That was a pretty solid move. I think he deserves a second look on that for White Helmet. So Noodles goes for he kind of has a little slap and then goes for a big hook. And at that moment, White Helmet ducks down and ducks out that punch. Pretty solid play. Ready? Boom! I'm going to play it one more time. That was like in Mortal Kombat. You hit L and R and the character ducks. Ready? Pop. Duck. Woo! So then White Helmet goes for the legs, goes low. He's like, okay, maybe I can't outbox the kid. Maybe we go back to wrestling, which is probably it's probably pretty smart from a fighting standpoint. If you have a weight advantage, use your weight advantage. And that's pretty much where the rest of the fight stalemates. So he kind of stays low. Noodles kind of hooks him from the top, punch in the back. They're straight wrestling right now. It's it's kind of debatable who's the upper hand at that point. I'm gonna go back a tiny bit here. So clearly, White Helmet is using his weight to manipulate both people, but Noodles is on top, kind of has him in a headlock, so he's kind of in like the probably the more attacking position, but just doesn't have the weight to counteract the kid who's bigger than him. So they get kind of tangled up. They get pushed into the couch. Then you'll see this kid on the couch is now filming the fight as well as the kid on the left. And let's go back a second here. Let's look at the left here. The kid who told me I tried to break up the fight. Look at him right here. He's like just kind of sitting there looking at it. Throws his arms up in the air. Oh, wow, damn. Now what are they doing? Oh, my God. And then you kind of just stalemate out there. And then finally, then the friends come over and they're like, "Oh, I guess we got our Snapchat video, so I guess that's done." Oh, whoa! What was that? There's a couple hits right here from his buddy. Oh, so he's trying to punch the other kid too. That's a new. Oh, then he fell off the couch. Oh, it's so good. Well, let's stop for a second. One, I didn't know the kid who was the distraction kid, who said he tried to break up the fight, popped this kid in the top of the helmet while they were all tangled up in the couch. Because that's a total dick move. Golden rule: don't be a dick. But then let's take a moment and just soak in when the antagonist who lost the fight falls off the couch. A couple punches there. That's just messed up. And trips and falls. And the kid gets up and he's ready to go, man. He gets up off the couch and he's like, wipes his nose off and he's like, so the other one, the white helmet, he just walks away. That's the end of the video. So, I mean, what are the big takeaways here? I think the big takeaway is if you're going to break the golden rule at Breaking Free Skatepark, which is don't be a dick, if you're going to break that rule, expect to get banned. The person who started this fight, and again, if you know him and you're listening to it and this is you, do not tag him in it. Do not say who it is because this is not about specifics. I don't want this to be like, oh, you made this whole video embarrassing this kid. It's not what this is about. This is about setting a precedent. This is just like in the past when we had, well, there was 2 times. Someone stole a fake Supreme beanie, and we tracked it down. Another time someone stole a Supreme jacket. We tracked it down through the video. Both those people were banned. Someone was posting very offensive and hateful comments on our Instagram page before the skate park even opened, and actually attacked me personally. Went to my profile and stole my pictures and made a fake profile of me. That person was banned. And then a fourth person was once refused to wear a helmet and then got in my face and tried to fight me. And that person was banned. All those people that were banned eventually were let back in. Because I believe in redemption. I believe in second chances. I don't have a skate park so I can be like, haha, I kicked you out. It's like, no, I have a skate park because, like, sometimes life is messed up and you get stressed out and it's hard. And having a place to go ride that is, safe and controlled and has an aura of trust and dignity and respect is something really important for the development of a lot of these teenagers. So if you're a kid and you're maybe start hanging out with the wrong kids and then you think it's cool to like pick a fight and fight someone younger than you or steal someone's Supreme jacket because you think having like a stupid fake expensive jacket or something is really freaking cool. Like, those are some poor choices. And if I kick you out forever, you are going to have more influences, more of those bad influences and less of the good influences. So I do believe that in time, they should all be let back in. Every person that I had banned and are now let back in, they eventually came to me and very sincerely apologized. Not like a fake slide in my DM apology, like came in man to man after a significant amount of time has gone by and said the kind of things that you would expect to hear. Like, hey, that was a year ago, that was 2 years ago. I was kind of a dumb kid hanging out with the wrong friends. Like, I kind of didn't realize that, like, how stupid that was. And like, there's certain things people can say that, like, translate a certain amount of honesty and dignity that I'd be looking for in that situation. So, so perhaps if you were thinking in this particular podcast, I was just kind of like, pooping on that one kid who was the bully, and I do believe he does deserve that to some degree, because you don't go around picking fights, you don't pick on kids younger than you. Like, all of that is nothing that I will tolerate at all. But this also gives that person the framework, if they so choose, and they listen to this, to think about it, to think about the things that really mattered. And I know life is tough, and you all have, different family lives at home, some ranging from perfect and ideal all the way up to absolute messes. And I grew up in a rough household. I didn't even have money to go to the skate park, but I'm definitely willing to give people multiple chances, especially if they're willing to, pay that respect forward. But there's a when you disrespect the skate park by doing that, when you disrespect, the community, the greater community, by doing that to someone within your riding scene, when you disrespect all of the time and hard work that went into building the skate park, with all the people that volunteered and helped me get to where we are, it's like, yeah, you deserve to be kicked out. Like, you deserve to have plenty of time to think through it. And that doesn't mean like, oh, you got kicked out in February, so you missed it for half of February and March, and then April came and it was nice out, and then come next November and it gets cold, you're like, oh, maybe. It's like, no, you like, I really want people, if you screw up, you deserve a second chance, but I need to know, like, you really thought through it. That is something that's so important about BFS. It's the fact that I'm there, like, every hour we're open, I'm basically there. And anyone I put in charge that's watching the counter, if I'm not there, I'm putting a lot of faith and trust in them that they could uphold the same standards that I have. So don't try to pull one on Clark. Because if Clark says, I want that kid banned for a month, I'll say, okay, Clark. Clark's the man. Clark runs the show. If Clark's up there every Saturday dealing with 150 customers, kicking butt, taking names, yeah, I'll do whatever he says. So I think what I'm trying to say is what I've mentioned multiple times already is, if you're at Breaking Free Skate Park, obey the golden rule. Don't be a dick. There are repercussions for your actions. I mean, if I were to tell 10 people that came to the skate park, I said, hey, there was a kid here that had his friend distract the kid and punch the kid in the back of the head. It's like, do you want to ride around someone like that? No one does. That's not to say that person can't change, because they can, and they should. But no one wants that kind of type of attitude and that type of bully at the skate park. And I will mention, there are people that come to the park. I should also say, like, I know what's going on. I know who's going what, who's doing where. I know there's people that I let stay an extra session and I don't charge them. There's a lot of stuff. Don't ever think that you're getting one on me, because I know a lot of my regulars, my bread and butter customers that come all the time, when they come in and they're like, yeah, I'm leaving at 6:30, and the rider and I both know you're not going to leave at 6:30, and I'm not going to kick you out. It's like, that's me giving you a little bit extra. But don't think I don't know. In a similar sense, there are kids that come to the skate park, and I hear the stories about what they do when they're at outdoor parks, when they're at Webster Skate Park, about getting into fights and all kinds of nefarious activities. But those kids don't do that at BFS, and I think that's great. It's not great that they might do bad things, but I think that just shows that there's a certain respect for the environment. There's a certain respect for the skate park. It's not just like it's there. It's like It's a lot of work to keep the skate park there. It's a lot of time and energy on a lot of people's parts. And like I said, I see nearly everything that goes on. I hear everything. People tell me everything, and you're probably not getting one over on me. I just letting it happen because sometimes it's not worth the argument or the conversation or the whatever. And like the customers that keep me open, they deserve to get a little bit back. And I know a lot of you guys. Well, how should I say this? I frequently let people ride randomly for free. Like if you're a person that comes once a week, twice a week, especially if you come twice a week, 3 times a week, don't have a pass, every once in a while I'll just be like, hey, I got you today, dude. And like, really, man? Like, of course. It's like, you keep coming here. That's awesome. I appreciate you, Those are the people that I see them out there. They have passion for it. They got the love for it. That's like Kyle Mertz. Like there's so many of those customers that are just like, I know that I'm offering them something that's special to them, and I want them to know that I see that and I appreciate that, and I want to give it back as much as I can. Now, if you're coming here and you're sucker punching people in the back of the head, if you're buying KFC and leaving a mess on the table for me every Saturday, it's like, yeah, chances are I'm never going to give you a free session. Probably not going to ask you to do a Friday 5, but if you're nice, if you're respectful, you'll get nice things. And that's kind of how life goes. Is it not? I think it's a beautiful way to end this little podcast. Again, finally, one last time. This was not to demonize anyone. This is not to embarrass anyone. I want the names, the people involved, I want them to be anonymous. I just wanted people to know that it happened. How we got to where we are and the current situation, which is that rider is banned. The other 2 riders in question they don't know it, but they're on thin ice. So any nonsense from those 2 guys, and they're going to be out too. And we might get a redemption eventually and let the rider back in. We'll see how it plays out. I don't know until the moment arises organically. But thanks for checking it out. Thank you so much to all of my riders, patrons, parents, everyone that comes in and is just nice and respectful and courteous and all those things. Like, you're the best. I love you. It's the reason why I do what I do. And for everyone that comes in and is a jerk and is selfish and makes a mess and doesn't care that other people have to clean it up, or for whoever pissed all over the bathroom, that was a nice one. They pissed all over the bathroom. They pissed all over the new toilet paper, like just soaked the toilet paper, filled the toilet paper dispenser with urine, pee everywhere. Thanks, man. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that one. It happens, I guess. But whoever did that, if I knew who that was, and if you know who pissed on the bathroom, you let me know, because that guy is out. And not to be gender specific, it was the men's room, and I'd imagine with the spray of the urine, probably had to come out of a penis. So, also, I don't think women would do that. Not to be sexist. Anyway, interesting episode. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much. Appreciate every customer, every view, everything. I love what I do. 2020 was quite a year. We ended strong. 2021 is starting off really strong as well. There's going to be a lot of positive growth in the skate park this year. And yeah, again, thank you. This is Breaking Free Speech. So this is where we walk the walk, and at the skate park is... No, it's backwards. The skate park is where we talk. Skate park is where we walk the walk. The podcast is where we talk the talk. And it's also where we shred the gnar. You shred the gnar everywhere. Don't punch people in the back of the head. Don't be a dick. It's that simple. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys.